Corey Anderson's going to take on Jan Blachowicz. This is interesting for a reason that I didn't know. And I'm bringing it to you guys, and I don't want anybody to tease me and go, hey, Chael, this is your job. How did you not know that? I'm just making the assumption because I didn't know it that perhaps you didn't know it, and we're all in on this together. This is a rematch. I didn't know Jan had ever had a fight that I haven't seen. I didn't know that Corey Anderson had ever had a fight, including his time on The Ultimate Fighter, that I haven't seen. Apparently they did, and I didn't see it. I didn't even know that it happened. I found out today. Now, that was very interesting, and I'll tell you why. Let me just bring you into my mindset. Blachowicz is going to fight Anderson. Anderson is a 2.5 to 1 favorite. To me, make that bet all day long. Now, that isn't because I'm picking Jan, but I'm not picking against Jan. When I see Jan's fights, particularly as of late, when I see Corey Anderson's fights throughout the course of his career, but the big jumps that he has made over the last 12 months, these guys could beat each other. I mean, I'm looking at that fight going, man, Jan could put him down. Corey could control position. Now all of a sudden you see what Corey did to Johnny Walker. Well, maybe Corey could put him down. I mean, it just gets really weird, right? It starts to get really weird. And even if you see Jan's recent fights, all of a sudden, he's pretty hard to take down. Like, even just take the fight with Luke Rockhold. One thing that did surprise Luke Rockhold was the power and strength of Jan. I saw them lock up in a position that Rockhold does well, and I saw that quick look in Luke's eyes. It was only a millisecond, but I've had those own looks in my own eyes. We go, whoa, wasn't expecting that. That was a strength issue, and Jan just had some really good strength. So when I look at that fight this morning, not knowing, not being armed with the fact that this is actually a rematch and it had been done once before. When I looked at it this morning, thinking this is a one-off, going, man, Corey can win this fight. Jan can win this fight. And if somebody wants to give me 2 to 1, if I take Jan, I could double my money. I'm taking that bet. I just have to take that bet. Well, then I find out this is a rematch, so I have to go investigate it. I got to go look at when did these guys fight and what happened in the fight. And I haven't been able to see the fight yet. I'll get on Fight Pass later. I'll watch the actual fight. But it was a decision, 3-round contest, went to a decision. Corey Anderson, unanimous, wins the contest. Knowing the way that Corey fought back then, 2015, I believe. Could have been as far as 14, I don't think so. 2015. I know that Corey Anderson. I watched that. I know that guy. That means he took Jan down, and that means he controlled position. And he was able to do that for 3 rounds and win. Without seeing the fight, I just know I'm right on that. I know that they've already done this dance before. It does largely change my opinion. And here's what you have to consider. Is Jan better than he was in 2015? The answer, ding, ding, yes. He's much better. One problem that Jan had that he solved is just getting to his target. Accuracy is a very tough thing in fighting that only comes with experience. You could be the most powerful guy in the world. Does your power count if it doesn't touch a target? If you and I get in a fight right now, and you go, but Chael, you were a professional fighter, and I've never done it before. This isn't fair. Yeah, I understand that. But no matter how well I throw a punch and I turn it over and I twist my hip and I come back with a, no matter how perfectly I do that, if it doesn't land, do you have anything to worry about? Does my power matter? Okay, I think I proved my point, but that's one thing. If you were to look at Jan and say, what has he done better? He is not a more powerful striker than he ever was before, but now he's finding his target. Again, go back to his fight with Rockhold, because I watched that this morning. Recent example for me, but a fight I know that also made you guys start to take appreciation. He caught Luke on a break. They were clinched up and they were breaking. In the world of boxing, that would not be legal. In the world of kickboxing, that would not be legal. In the world of MMA, it's smart. It's very legal. But Jan hadn't quite worked some of these kinks out yet. He hadn't quite worked out some of these kinks. It was a little more, let me find you with my jab. Let me throw that cross when I'm ready. Let me dig to the bottom. It's a little more straightforward. And that's good, straightforward boxing. I have a real appreciation for that. But for MMA, you can do things that are illegal in boxing. You can do things that would be called dirty in boxing. Jens Pulver coined the phrase dirty boxing when Randy Couture used to grab somebody around the neck and start uppercutting them in the face. That would be dirty under boxing rules. If you ever grabbed a guy in the ref's yelling break and you sneak one in, you're a dirty boxer. It's allowed in MMA. The one thing that Jan has done, Jan, I always get his name wrong. Jan has done is he started to find that range. He started to find that accuracy, and he started to find different places to throw and land that big Polish hammer. Okay. Now you got to look at Corey. Corey was a pretty meat and potatoes guy when he came through the Ultimate Fighter, and he had every right to be. He was like 24 years old. He was a wrestler. He spent time at the training center. He went through the Junior Olympics process. I mean, he wrestled since he was a little boy. One problem that wrestlers have, and they've got a great skill set, but one problem that they have is understanding range. In the sport of wrestling, it's a very simple rule. If I put my hand out and I can't touch you, I cannot attack you. I have to make sure that you are within what's called an arm's reach. Well, that rule and that concept is also true in mixed martial arts, but where the wrestlers, and where Corey was when he was 24, what the wrestlers takes time for them to learn, same rule within arm's reach, but now I don't get to just put my hand out. Now I've got to throw it out. I got to put something behind. I've got to distract you. But once I touch you, I can change elevation and try to penetrate. Well, these are the things that Corey's gotten very good at. And if we go back and just look at his last fight may not be the best fight to look at because he's never fought like that before. This guy was a tiger. I mean, Corey was pissed off to the highest of levels, and he was a tiger. And I don't know that you can look at that fight and think, okay, Corey's Joe stand-up now. I don't think that would be wise, and I also think it would be unfair to Corey because I don't think that would be helpful to Corey in this particular contest. But it is one thing that I have to bring up as a talking point. Look, fighters, particularly wrestlers, will fall in love with their right hand over time. I was talking to Josh Koscheck this morning, by the way, bringing a name from the past. Josh Koscheck is one of those guys who was the masterful wrestler, undefeated NCAA champion, perfect record, wonderful athlete, but he fell in love with his right hand. Johnny Hendricks would fall into that category. Dan Henderson would fall into that category. All of those guys fought to the highest of levels. Some of them became world champions. All of them fought for multiple world championships. So before you think I'm giving them a knock here, I'm not. I'm just giving you an analysis that once you wrestle your whole life and all of a sudden you discover I can end a contest with this, that starts to be a pretty seductive thing to do. Because now it shortens the night. Now it brings the crowd to their feet. Now all of a sudden you're a little more likely to get a bonus. You can fall in love with that right hand. I see golfers do this, guys. Golfers will fall in love with the same swing and they'll get away from everything else. If Corey Anderson is to fall in love with the roar of the crowd and the energy and the buzz that he gets and the expediency that he can get out of there and decides to trade shots with Jan Blachowicz, I think that's worrisome. Good news here. I don't think Corey's going to do that. And don't forget, Corey's a pretty smart fighter. Okay, he's working towards being a very smart fighter. But right now, he's a pretty smart fighter. He used to be on the lower end of it. Now he's a pretty smart fighter. He's got some experience. He's been in there. He's learning the game on both sides of it, not just from the media, but to the competition and the strategies as well. Plus, he's already been in there with Blachowicz, so I think he already knows. I think he's already got a good idea to rinse and repeat what he did from 2015, that first contest. I think now, being armed with information that I did not have prior, I just simply did not. Guys, I didn't know this was a rematch. I've never heard it billed as a rematch. I've never heard anybody say it was a rematch. I happen to be on the phone with Elisa. Elisa informs me this is actually a rematch. I go, I didn't know that. So I log into SureDog. I see how the fight went. I check the fight out. What's interesting about this contest, though, and what's interesting as a whole for the light heavyweight division in the last 7 days has been resurrected and arguably saved. The light heavyweight division was in such shambles 1 week ago that the champion of the division was looking to leave. The champion himself was looking to get out of it. Now you've got Corey. You've got Jan, which appears to be a number one contenders match. Now, let me explain number one contender. Number one contender means go ahead and take care of your business, boys, if something really dramatic happens. You now get to move into a conversation which is going to be done solely by us, solely by fans. And you're not taking on Jon Jones. You're now up against Dominic Reyes. And you're never going to have to get in there, and you're never going to have to duke it out with Dom. You're going to have to go to your outlets and to your media and to your friends and to anybody else that you think can elevate you. And it's going to be the winner of Corey and Jan versus Dominic in the media for a shot at Jon Jones.